Welcome to Truth by Billie Beene. I have a subscribe button in the lower right corner of my screen. Thanks for like, subscribe, and share, and for hitting the like button. That helps my channel to grow. Some of the sources I'll use today: God in the Bible, Patriot Subscriber, PINBALL, BPEARTHWATCH, HURR, Pastor Paul Begley, Space Weather on YouTube, formerly Suspicious Observers, Canadian Prepper. Today's date is September 28, 2025, time in Texas about 10 a.m. Some of the things we'll cover: Ukraine preps Pearl Harbor, and U.S. intel. Ukraine preps a false flag to hit Poland and Romania, where, of course, we have tens of thousands of U.S. military. So, hey, the deep state doesn't care how many U.S. military soldiers they have to kill to get America into World War III. So I'm going to begin with space weather. We had an M6 yesterday from one of the sunspots, and with regard to the tropics, we do have, here is Cuba. We have this future Imelda. When it becomes a hurricane Tuesday, currently it's a tropical depression, winds 35 miles per hour, pressure 1002. It's predicted to become a hurricane by about Tuesday, but also turn east away from the U.S., as will Umberto. So that's going on. However, through Tuesday, Cuba, the Bahamas will receive heavy rain, as will this part of Florida. And Florida may also be impacted when it becomes a hurricane Tuesday. The hurricane name will be Imelda. So it's good for people in that area to keep an eye on the tropics. Now we have this. I have a Patriot subscriber who said recently there was a cyber attack. See, today is Sunday, so that happened about Thursday, I believe. 9/11 went down in 3 states, I believe, including Alabama and Mississippi. So my Patriot subscriber says 9/11 the system was down, and we received a cell alert after about 4.5 hours when it was back up. So we do see cyber attacks taking place now in America. I have a Patriot subscriber talking about Charlie Kirk. Very emotional, unexpected, and daily the national and world news is unsettling, but more truth is likely to be coming out soon. Yes, and even people in my immediate circle were deeply grieving for Charlie Kirk, a man they had never met. So yes, the assassination of Charlie Kirk by the FBI has hit America very hard. Now let's talk about the U.S. intel coming out globally about a planned false flag by Ukraine to bring about a Pearl Harbor-like event. It appears designed to kill tens of thousands of American troops located in Poland and Romania. And we have details, the U.S. military and the U.S. intel organizations. So we have Belarus. We know in the past few days, Russia has moved Oreshniks to Belarus. We have Ukraine, where the Ukraine government, Zelensky, and the Ukraine military are planning a Pearl Harbor attack on the U.S. military located in Poland and Romania. That's to drag the U.S. into World War III. So we have details coming out. This is covert intel coming out via Hal Turner. A false flag is being planned in Ukraine by Zelensky, the Ukraine government, the Ukraine military, and it is to hit Poland and Romania, the U.S. military bases, and the details. So it's being planned inside Ukraine on Bankova Street. The U.S. military is putting out details, and the U.S. intel are putting out details. And the false flag group is trying to bring about something like a Glenn Witz incident, but I'm describing it as a Pearl Harbor. And the plan is being put out by U.S. intel globally that Kiev, Zelensky, the Ukraine government, the Ukraine military are putting together a Pearl Harbor plan to kill U.S. military in Poland and Romania. And the way they're going to do it, they're going to repair Russian drones, and then they are going to launch these drones into Poland and Romania. The targets are in Poland, the Reszków, Jasinka Airport, where tens of thousands of U.S. military are nearby, and in Romania, the Mikhal K air base. So the intent by Zelensky, the Ukraine government, the Ukraine military is to kill U.S. military in Poland and in Romania. And at the same time that it launches these drones, you know, they're going to say they're Russia, Russia, Russia. They're going to put out a global disinformation plan saying it was Russia. And details that U.S. intel is now putting out globally is that Ukraine has recovered Russian Geron drones, which they delivered to the Yavorol training center to be repaired. This happened September 16, and they were repaired at the Lorta factory. So we see Zelensky, the Ukraine government, the Ukraine military planning a false flag in Poland and Romania designed to kill tens of thousands of U.S. military, a Pearl Harbor event to drag the U.S., NATO, and EU into World War III. But the U.S. military and the U.S. intel organizations are putting this information out right now. So that's going on. Now we have this. You know, a couple of days ago, we had an armed terrorist attack by Antifa, a semi-political group supported by the deep state Soros, which has been designated by President Trump as being a terrorist organization, opening sniper fire on a Dallas ICE facility. 3 were shot. I believe one, the 3 shot were, I believe, illegals. I believe 1 died. and apparently maybe 2 of the ICE agents were injured. So, now, after that, President Trump puts out that ICE facilities will be protected by armed military. So that's going on. And since it's been designated a terrorist organization, I'm assuming the rules of engagement are open. So that's going on. And we have this. Pastor Paul Begley brought this information out a couple of days ago. Off of Florida, we had the Navy testing a nuclear missile that can travel 7,500 miles. It was launched by an Ohio-class sub. Yeah, and could be seen along Florida coast and Puerto Rico. So that's happening. You see the U.S. military testing nukes. We have this from Canadian Prepper. Now, we've heard, I believe this happened like maybe Thursday or Friday. President Trump has called for a meeting of the U.S. military, all in one location, Quantico, Virginia. I believe the meeting is to be Tuesday. That's coincident with a possibility of the U.S. government shutting down Tuesday. We'll see. But an unprecedented U.S. military meeting, unprecedented in U.S. military history, a meeting of all brigadier generals up, plus admirals, plus the 11 commanders of regional groups that cover areas like Europe, the Middle East, Asia Pacific, and so on. So this is an unprecedented meeting. Now, Canadian Prepper put out some information, which I believe I have confirmed. The reason that all of these military leaders are being called to one location for a face-to-face meeting with plans to be communicated, not communicated digitally or by satellite or other means, is because apparently the U.S. military communication system has been compromised. Now, we can couple this meeting with the information coming out now from U.S. Intel, and apparently they've had this intel since about September 16, about the Ukraine government, Zelensky, the Ukraine government, the Ukraine military planning a false flag to kill U.S. military in Poland and Romania to bring about a Pearl Harbor-like situation to drag the U.S., NATO, and the European Union into World War III. So what do we see? We see a response by the President Trump and the U.S. military. Once they had clearly discovered that the U.S. military communication system had been compromised, they're bringing all their top leaders into the U.S. for a face-to-face meeting. Concurrent with that, we have 10 warships now in the Caribbean area, plus other equipment. We see the U.S. Navy testing a nuclear Trident unarmed missile just a couple of days ago. So I submit to you, something's going on. I believe it would be good to be in prayer for America, President Trump, the U.S. military, and world peace. I love you, and I'll see you soon.